I think probably the best thing to do is just, if you want to ask me some questions, I can answer them, and we can just do that for a bit and see how it goes.
Are you excited?
Of course, absolutely.
There are 10 you're releasing today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big day for Tesla because we're releasing the first 10 production cars to sort of normal customers, and so they're going to be out on the roads and experienced in a way that's not controlled, say, by Tesla or Tesla personnel. They're kind of out in the wild. So that's a big day, and hopefully everything goes well. Did you have a question?
Yeah, do you guys crash test in this building?
We don't crash test in this building. We use external facilities to crash test, and then we'll do the design and manufacturing in this building to fix those things associated with crash test, and we'll do the forensics of the crash test in this facility, but we currently crash test elsewhere.
How many Model S's do you produce a day? How many cars do you produce a day?
Well, so we're just starting production of the Model S. So initially, it's slow because we need to make sure that the quality is excellent in each car. So right now we're just doing about a car per day, and then in a month we'll go to 2 cars a day, and then 3, and then 6, and then 10. You kind of grow you spool up the manufacturing line kind of in an exponential way. That's how
You really need to change the line
how it works.
as that develops.
No, the line is designed for a 20,000 unit a year production rate. So it's more like at low production, things are moving sometimes out of sequence and not according to the high production flow. And over time, we're able to actually execute the design production flow.
Do you think Solar City and Tesla would ever merge technologies to have solar panels on cars to produce electricity, or would the concentration not be high enough for batteries?
Well, I think that the things that Tesla and Solar City will do together, but not initially on the car, but in terms of, say, having charge stations that are fed by solar power. I think in terms of serving consumers' needs for sustainable production and consumption of energy, because obviously solar gives you sustainable production of energy, the car gives you sustainable consumption of energy, and you need both pieces for the overall future to be sustainable. So that's kind of they're kind of two sides of the same coin. You know.
How long is the waiting list?
Well, right now, if you put down a reservation payment, you get your car in about March or April of next year. So we have over 10,000 cars on the wait. Yeah.
You have 10,000 cars on the wait list?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Actually, we have more than 10,000 cars, but as of our last quarterly report, we had 10,000 cars. Since then, there are a bunch more reservations.
That's great. Yeah. Hey, did you know that you and Steve Jobs are on the front of Draper University? Your picture and Steve Jobs' picture?
That's cool.
You'll have to drive by. It's on 3rd Avenue in San Mateo.
All right, well, cool.
Big portrait of you and big one of Steve Jobs. Your face just blown up.
Uh-oh. Hope you use some digital post-production.
Where do you see Tesla being in 10 or 20 years?
Wow, 10 or 20 years is like quasi-infinity, but I mean, I'm hoping that Tesla's producing, perhaps in 20 years, maybe Tesla's producing millions of cars. That would be really cool. And in 10 years, I'd hope that we're producing at least 500,000 cars a year. But the overarching goal of Tesla is to serve as a catalyst to accelerate the transformation of the car industry to electric. So I guess that's sort of how I'm kind of measuring things. And there's the cars we make ourselves, the cars where we supply powertrains, and then the examples of the other electric cars made by other manufacturers where we inspire by example. So the most important thing is that in 20 years, a majority of new cars made are electric, whether by Tesla or by other companies. That's the main goal. Yeah.
Do you have any words of encouragement for these guys? They're going to go off and change different industries, and any thoughts that they should take with them?
Well, I think it's very difficult to start companies and quite painful. I think that's important to bear in mind. I don't know if that's probably not encouraging. But I mean, there's a friend of mine who's got a good phrase for doing a startup. It's like eating glass and staring into the abyss. So it's if you go into it expecting it's going to be just fun, you will be disappointed. It's not. It's quite painful. It's much easier to get a job somewhere. Much easier, much less stressful. You'll have more time for other things.
But would you be happier?
It depends on who you are. Would I be happier?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't be. I'd be unhappier. So it's really like if you're sort of wired to do it, then you should do it, but not otherwise. It's not going to optimize your leisure time or anything like that. It's going to be extremely difficult and stressful. So you must feel compelled to do it. Let me put it this way: if you need inspiring words, don't do it.
Actually, that is right. That's good, inspiring words. And would you recommend doing 2 at a time?
No, that's a terrible idea. I really super don't recommend doing 2 at a time. It was not my intention to run 2 companies, but as it turned out, I kind of didn't have much choice.
You inherited one and started the other.
Yeah. Well, it's I sort of played a role in starting both, but my intention was not to. I was hoping that I would not have to run Tesla, and like in the case of Solar City, I played a role in starting that. But Lyndon and Pete, who co-founders, they're so good that they don't need much help from me, which is great. I was hoping that would be the case with Tesla, but unfortunately, it was not.
Yeah, right. Now, and how about how did it feel when you docked with a space station? This is now SpaceX.
Right.
How'd that feel?
Yeah, that was a hugely satisfying moment. I felt like I just lost 100 pounds. I felt a lot lighter. So that was there was so much that could go wrong there that when it went right, it was a huge relief. And I was definitely, at some point after that, I felt elated, but initially it was just like, wow, what a huge relief. Yeah.
Other questions? He's got a big day today, but go ahead. Yeah.
What's been your favorite project?
Well, I think Tesla and SpaceX are kind of about equal, and so those are my 2 favorite projects.
You like it better than PayPal?
I do. It's yeah.
How do you balance SpaceX and Tesla and also your family life?
Well, it is certainly challenging, but my basic way I operate is Mondays and Thursdays are SpaceX, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are Tesla, and Friday is split between Tesla and SpaceX. And then I have my kids from Thursday evening to Monday morning. So I see them Thursday evening, take them to school Monday, see them Friday evening usually, and then the weekends are spent with the kids. Although there are times when I'll have to go to the office for half a day during the weekends, or sometimes a full day. And then when I'm with the kids, they only require my attention sporadically. And then when I'm not talking to them, then I'm just on email on my phone.
How old are they?
The twins are 8 and the triplets are 5.
Okay, so about 10 years to 15 years, we'll get them all to go to Draper University.
Right.
Challenges in starting an all-electric car company?
Sorry.
What was one of the most difficult challenges in starting an all-electric car company?
One of the most difficult challenges? Well, I think that probably the toughest thing with starting a car company is that the regulations around cars are enormous. So in order to be able to make any car that's not, say, just a kit car or something like that, there's a capital cost that's enormous. And that's why there have been no new successful car company startups of any significance since Chrysler 90 years ago. So the oldest, the youngest car company in America is 90. And there's a similar problem in the space business. And whenever you've got industries that have need a huge amount of capital, it's a barrier to startups. And that also tends to mean that there's less innovation. Because new companies tend to drive innovation in an industry. So the biggest single challenge was getting getting all of it done at a with an amount of capital that we could afford to raise. So that's probably the single biggest challenge. And there's certainly technology challenges and things, but given enough money, you could probably solve those. But it's if you have a really an amount of money that's way less than anyone thinks is necessary, can you solve it within that? Yeah, that was the hardest thing.
One more question.
Okay, I feel like the Tesla brand is kind of unknown on the East Coast or outside of the California area.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's...
I wouldn't say it's unknown, but it's much weaker.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if that's because you don't really have the production to produce...
We just don't care about the East Coast.
Sorry. Do you eventually intend on like expanding to selling, I guess?
Yeah.
Or like when is that going to happen?
It's actually happening in the second half of this year. So we're actually going to be opening several stores in the greater New York area, and then a bunch in sort of the DC, Virginia area. So that's and then some in Florida as well. So in terms of the East Coast expansion, a lot of that's happening in the second half of this year, and we'll have 4 stores in the greater New York area, and then I think that's really going to change the perception as people start seeing the Tesla stores in the malls that they're used to visiting. But I agree with you that it's a hugely untapped market for us.
Now Elon's got a very busy day today, so we're going to let him go. But first, I want to thank you very much, and I want you guys to give him a 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Great. Good to see you.